Today's road trip is going to take us to Wheeling, West Virginia. But right now we are in Bridgeport, Ohio. And that is the road that's going to take us over the Ohio River. And first it will take us into Wheeling Island. And then from Wheeling Island we go to Wheeling. So let's take a walk over, take a look at the sign, the West Virginia sign. Again, this is a little town called Bridgeport. It's in Ohio. Now, there used to be an old bridge here. I don't know how many years, 20, 30 years ago, there's an old steel bridge here. I really like that bridge. But today, this new modern bridge is, nothing to brag about. Look at it, just simple. Yeah, I like the old bridge. But here we go. The old bridge is gone, and got the railroad crossing. And here is the sign, the West Virginia sign. So again, we're going to be crossing over. This is the Ohio side, and we're going to be heading to Wheeling Island first. Now here we are on Wheeling Island. One of the main attractions in Wheeling Island is the dog track, which turned into a big casino. So here it is. This is the Wheeling Island Casino. Before the casino was built, it was a dog track. People came from all over the area, all over the tri-state area, Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, to play the dogs here, get that wheeling feeling. But now they got a big casino. Now this is in Wheeling Island. So this is the first stop. When you head into the area, you're going to come across the river. You might as well stop here at the casino in Wheeling Island, and from there we head across the bridge, and here we go. We're going to take this bridge, and then that's the city of Wheeling. At one time, Wheeling had about 60,000 people in this town. They were famous for their Marsh cigars. Here's the big building, Marsh, Wheeling, Stogies. Cigars came out of there. And here we are in Wheeling, West Virginia. Now, I think the first thing to do is take the suspension bridge. Now, this suspension bridge is going to take us right back to Wheeling Island. Let's take a trip across the suspension bridge. This is an antique. It goes way, way back. One of the oldest suspension bridges ever. Matter of fact, they learned by building this one, they learned the tricks on how to make it better with the Brooklyn Bridge. So this bridge was built before the Brooklyn Bridge. So let's go ahead and take a trip across the bridge. Really, what's better to do on a rainy day than to get that wheeling feeling? So that's what we're doing. We're taking a road trip to Wheeling, West Virginia on a rainy day. Now, the first stop we're going to take a look at is this is the old water treatment building. Now, this will be on the north part of Wheeling, and this is the old water treatment building. Now they have a company in there that does cement products. They build cement products out of there, and they get a lot of work done. So now we're just going to take a little tour of the Wheeling before we go for lunch. Now, lunch is going to be very, very special. Hang on there for lunch because it's going to be good. Take you to a good place, get a good fish sandwich. Now, the city's done a good job getting park-like settings there by the river so you can watch the barges go up and down the river. They've done a pretty good job for the tourists to go see the Ohio River. Now, here we are before we go to lunch. We're going to go to the market. They call it the market. It's in South Wheeling. Here it is. See that building? And they've got a really nice fish sandwich in there. They call it Coleman Fish sandwiches. Now they go back a long time. I remember Coleman Fish sandwiches 30, 40 years ago. And here we are. This is the best place to get it. So a trip to Wheeling is not complete unless you stop in here for lunch at the market and get yourself a fish sandwich. That's what we're going to do right now. I'm going to show you how they put a lot of fish on there. They're not cheap. They're not cheap when it comes to putting in. That fish is good too. So here I'll just let you read the sign. This is another historic building. Lots of historic buildings in Wheeling. I mean, this George Washington was surveying the area, I believe, in around 1750. It wasn't really starting to pick up until probably around the 1850s. But there's a lot of historic old buildings in Wheeling. I'm going to show you quite a few of them. So let's go get that fish sandwich. So here we are. You go into the Coleman place there, turn to the right, and make sure you ask them for the original fish. They sell a couple different types of fish. You want to get the original, and this is what it looks like. You can also get it on wheat bread, but I go the original style with the white bread. And as you can see, there's a whole lot of fish on there. Get yourself some extra tartar sauce, and I actually got some chicken dumpling soup to go with it. A long time ago, they used to have turtle soup in there. Believe it or not, they had turtle soup in there a long time ago. Now let's go ahead and take a look at some of the historic buildings in Wheeling. They're trying to save a lot of these historic buildings. As you can imagine, a lot of the old towns on the Ohio River, as I said, there was at the peak, I think somewhere around 1940, somewhere around that area, there was probably 60,000 or more people in Wheeling. But as most of these old towns back east and in the Rust Belt area, where a lot of the factory towns, where all the factories were, a lot of them have half the population that they used to. And this place probably has about 30,000, probably less than 30,000 residents in Wheeling today compared to the peak back before the war. This is an interesting building. They sold tip cards, ticket games, all kind of interesting old buildings. Now this one, Bill, I don't know what this was originally, but it's on the Ohio River. An old church, no longer in action. Lots of old, beautiful stone churches in Wheeling. This one didn't seem to make it. Yeah, here's one of the old beautiful stone churches. The English Lutheran Church. How beautiful is that? Hand cut stone. I mean, you're going back to the 1800s. I mean, this is when Americans were able to make something, build something, hand cut that stone, and look at the marvel of that building. Could you imagine Americans making something like that today? No, I don't think we won't get into that. Now this is a beautiful mosaic piece of artwork, all made out of small little tiles, ceramic tiles made into a piece of artwork. Very beautiful mosaic. towards the end of the video, we'll also have some more artwork on a metal elephant. We'll get to that later. It's a sort of a metal sculpture elephant. That's kind of cool. So, what else can I tell you about Wheeling? Here's an interesting piece of trivia. You got the Ohio River there, right? Most people would think that the state of Ohio owns most of the Ohio River, but believe it or not, West Virginia owns most of the Ohio River. If you go look at the map, the state of Ohio only has a tiny bit of the Ohio River. Like I said, most of that is owned by West Virginia. And okay, going back to when Wheeling was in the boom area. See, there's lots of factories. See, this was an old factory here, biscuit factory. Turned it into some brewery lofts. I guess they're going to try to make some expensive apartments in there. So, this town used to be an industrial factory city. So everybody had a factory job. Guess what's going on now in Wheeling? Most likely, if you work in Wheeling, you're working in the healthcare business, education, or possibly a lawyer's office. See the difference what America turned into? And you're going back to the 30s, 40s, and 50s, even 60s. Americans built things and they had factories in this town and there were factory workers. They worked hard. Today, you're working in education. You're a teacher or you work in the healthcare. I mean, I don't want to be sarcastic here, but there's a drastic change, isn't it? I mean, what do the teachers make? What the healthcare, I mean, I know the healthcare people are important, but the healthcare people are just taking care of people who are sick. I mean, you need producers. You need people working in this warehouse factory. That's what Donald Trump said he was going to try to do. We're going to get those factories up and running. It's all bullshit. The factories are gone. All the factories went to China. I'm not going to go off on a rant here. No, I'm not going to do it. But hey, something has to change. But I'll leave you on a light note. Artwork. A little bit of city artwork. This is a big elephant and he's made out of metal. I believe it's stainless steel he's made out of. Some sort of steel. That's all I have for you on our road trip to Wheeling. Thank you for joining me.